Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SB Interviews, where today I've got the 14th installment. We're going to be talking to an artist, an act named Arlo Antonio Lopez. Switching over to here. Say hello, Arlo.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? How's it going?
It's good, thanks. We totally aren't re-recording this because the
Nope,
record
first time.
button, first time, definitely didn't.
Yep,
Okay.
first
What?
time.
First time. Welcome. We're gonna do
Thank
the
you.
intro, and we're gonna just go for gold and talk about your music. So feel free to introduce yourself.
Awesome. My name is Arlo. My music name is Arlo. My name is Antonio Lopez, 20 years old, based in Central New York. Been making music for about 3 years now, but not like professional studio quality until the last year or two. So that's me in a nutshell.
And that's okay. And what we're gonna do is we are gonna go through your two EPs. The first one, The End of Me. How would you describe that?
The end of me, man, just me coming out of the gate swinging like, hey, I'm here. This is me, Antonio Lopez, taking over the airwaves. I want to do rock. I want to do piano. I want to do rap. I want to make a string introduction by myself, even though I have no compositional history. And so, just me being sad, yet not sad because I was happy, but my music was sad. It's just all over the place. It was a definitely all over the place EP, but holds a charm because it was just first time, raw energy. Yeah, that's definitely the enemy in a nutshell.
That's okay. And then we have your most recent EP, Scars. And how would you describe Scars?
Scars, heartbroken, down in the dumps, truly beyond words destroyed. Yeah, at the same time, creatively on fire, which is an unfortunate circumstance. It sucks that I had to be heartbroken to get to that point. But yeah, that I felt like that was just I was comfortable musically and I found myself musically and I knew what I wanted, had a clear vision. My producer, who also produced the end of me, improved tenfold just the quality of everything that he did. It was like I got to grow as a person, being single and navigating that emotionally, and my producer got to grow in the time that between the end of me and Scars, and it was just the perfect blend of things to lead to that EP being what it was, and I'm very happy with it. To this day, very very happy.
Excellent. So we've got two EPs out and we're writing music at the moment.
Yep, writing music nonstop. Not all of it's great, unfortunately, but that's just the process. That's been the process for every EP. It's just writing a million songs in the same vein and cutting them down to three. It's just I'm just like I want to like I've been I've listened to a lot of music reviews, and I hate when people talk about like how like oh the album's good, but there's these tracks in there that are like duds and there's dud tracks and tracks that aren't as good and kind of filler tracks. And I'm like, I never want to have a filler track. I want every song to be like a punch in the face. I want every song to be like, so that's why I try so hard to cut it down to three tracks. I don't want any filler tracks. I don't want any, just something that I throw in there to blow up the track list. So I've just been writing and I'm working on an album. I yep, which is taking very, very long because I can't make up my mind. And I keep cutting tracks, adding tracks back, cutting them again.
That's brutal. Because, like, what is the music industry nowadays in terms of albums?
Giant 25 deluxe edition, like bloated, super bloated track listings, and which is fine if you want to boost your streams that way, I guess. If you have a following already and you just want to boost your numbers, I guess that's fine. But I have something to prove, so I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be, you know, I don't want there to be anything that's just like, oh wow, yeah, he clearly just threw that in there just for the sake of having it in there. Um, So, definitely a lot of albums like that, just 15, 20 songs, sometimes 25, 30. Like, I'm just like, I can't even picture it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're the kind of person, as I understand, that you write an album to get down to an EP, right? So it's just Especially as I understand you're a bit of a perfectionist, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, no, you could definitely say that. I'm definitely a perfectionist. Just truly beyond words. If I don't like one thing about the song, it's trash. I hate it. It's gone to the void forever, to never be heard by anyone ever again. And so yeah, so it's a very brutal writing process, which is the worst part. But yeah,
It's all right, because like you're 20 years old, right?
yeah, yes, sir.
You're just you're just starting out your adventure though, right? Like what is your
Yeah.
music scene like where you are?
Oh man, my music is saying that I don't want to say lost, but I'm definitely finding myself, I guess, just as a person. You know, you won't hear, a happily married 40-year-old man writing these songs. This is, this is navigating 20-year-old kid stuff that I'm writing. So it's definitely saying that I'm finding myself and I'm finding my sound and in my process. That's what my music's definitely saying about me for right now.
I mean, to be fair though, would you want to hear an album from a 40-year-old man who is happily married?
No, no, no. It would just be, oh man, I can't even imagine what that would sound like. Just happy and poppy and basic and yeah, no, no thanks. I'm I'm content with the sad boy stuff for sure.
Because like, what is music to you? Like, what does the art form represent?
Music is an escape. Music is an expression. It's a chance to, I would say, put yourself out there and, earn yourself a name and earn yourself a following and to connect with people. Is everything.
No, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, you're talking to a guy who spent half his lifetime doing music and chatting to
Yeah.
people such as yourself. And I've listened to quite a bit of your material. And just we've got the stuff on Spotify. And sorry, how many years have you been doing music for?
About 3 years now, and I only have 9 songs out on Spotify. Shockingly.
So you would have started when you were 17, right?
Yep. 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 Start 17 years old.
Has the music industry changed much since you were 17? Because it feels like everything goes so quickly.
Oh my, so many trends. Um, like back when I started, that was around the time that like hook verse hook, super short, like emo trap songs were popular. Like 2018, 2019, like Juice World X, Lil Peep, like that was the big thing, and that's what I was doing when I started. Like super stuff, like super emo trap stuff like that. And just in the time that just recently, like the Kid Leroy and the acoustic pop stuff, and now the Weekend and like the '80s revival, Miley Cyrus with the '80s revival. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I'm still stuck at like in 3 months ago, musically. I can't keep up, and it's just changing too fast for me. I don't know what to do.
And I'm just for the sake of my own sanity, my dude. Because you're mostly doing this kind of acoustic kind of rock stuff at the moment with your most recent release EP and with a scars, and then with the end of me you tried all sorts of different styles. And my understanding, especially with tracks like Classy, and Classy was a track that was a little bit different than what you've released recently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Definitely out there.
Do you think you'd go back to that, or would you want to do some more like some more heavy rock stuff? Like from your can I sorry, can I stop here? I remember From Your Ghost firmly. That
Really?
melody and that hook is really super dope.
Oh, thank you so
And
much.
no, for real. Like I was listening to it today because I've had it stuck in my head for months, and I just randomly comes into my head and worms its way in, and I'm
Oh,
like,
perfect.
that's the song it came from.
Yeah.
And do you know how many times that doesn't happen when I listen to music? And
Yeah.
do you think you'll make more of that?
Oh man, for sure. Yeah, no, I've definitely written a few rock songs. I have them written, and it's just so complicated because I don't know where I want to go with my rock. Like I've written heavy rock, like along the lines of From Your Ghost, and then I've written like teeny, 2008 teen punk movie, like like 5 seconds of summer-esque, like emo rock. And I'm just like, I like both of them. And I would love to make a whole rock EP. Or a rock album, actually. I've written so many songs. But I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm so stuck on the acoustic, and I'm always a sucker for piano ballads. And so I definitely have plans for more heavy rock in the future. And I've tried to do rap again, and I'm just like, I can't pull it off. I'm just not that type of guy. But I can write it, but I'm just like, I can't. You wouldn't believe it. Like if I rapped, you'd be like, okay, you know, like that's just not real. you know,
Like, what is what? Because what is rap nowadays?
bravado, big bravado. I don't give a, I don't care what anybody says. I have 3,000 women in my Instagram DMs. Like that's what rap is nowadays. Super like, and it's so good. Even though I'm a big rock guy, it's so good because they believe what they're saying, even if it might not be true. It's just like you can just buy it. Like they sell it so well. And I'm just like, oh man, like that's what makes it so good. Like I can put on, like my 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 Spotify. I can listen to "Fall for You" by Secondhand Serenade, and then Pop Smoke will come on the next track. And I'm just like, man, like I can't kick the rock stuff up. I can't. It's just so believable, and it makes me feel like I'm a tough guy. I'm sitting there listening to Pop Smoke, driving around, speeding. I'm just like, man, I can't kick it. I don't know. I just can't do it.
Because like Arlo is kind of a way of expressing yourself out like as kind of extension yourself. And like that's the thing. You've got so many options with these different genres that you explored, with the end of me, that it probably can. I understand why it's a little bit difficult to choose, especially if you're considering an album. Because how much do you allocate to the rock stuff? How much do you allocate to the rap stuff? How much do you dedicate to the acoustic stuff?
Yes, that has been the biggest nightmare. Like I'm trying to limit it to like 9 or 10 tracks for the album. Like I have it numbered just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm like, I'm not going beyond that. I'm not going less than that. I'm going to do 9 tracks. And I'm just like, okay, oh wow, this is definitely balanced way too far in the acoustic side. Well, that's way too many rap songs. Whoa, that's too many rock songs. And I'm just like cutting tracks, cutting them, and then adding them, cutting them. I'm just like, now this doesn't even make sense anymore. What is this even album even going to be about? It's just a big compilation of songs at this point. So that's the biggest nightmare. It's just making it cohesive, but making it different. That's the biggest nightmare.
But like, I guess on the plus side, if you stick with the kind of acoustic stuff, you could do like live shows or something like that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's definitely the plan. Acoustic is so easy. It's so nice and simple. Like just crooning over an acoustic guitar. Like I don't need a band behind me. I don't need, I don't need I don't need that stuff. Like it's just a guitar, even though I can't play to save my life. Um, you know, that's just as like raw and as like intimate as it gets with music.
Yeah, guitar's tricky. Yeah, you can sample drums. Hell, you can
Oh yeah.
even sample basses. You can use synth basses. But what do you do with a guitar?
Oh man. I watched the actually I was on the channel that you have, and I remember if you were doing a bass cover or it was a guitar cover, but I was watching you play and I was just like, holy shit. There's no way. I'm like, that's so I can't even imagine the mental fortitude that it takes and just the concentration that it takes and the discipline. I just can't. Like I was like I have a newfound respect for spider hands because that is something I could never dream of doing. So
You want to know a secret? You want to know a secret? Basically, the reason I got into guitar that much, well, basics is I was in a really toxic relationship. And I was just like, man, the only way I can feel good is if I pick up an instrument and play some guitar. And that's why I used to
uh,
play guitar for 2 to 3 hours a day.
that's so crazy. See, just bad girlfriends can make great musicians out of you.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
man. Oh, dude. Isn't it just wild how, like, those kind of experiences can motivate you to become a better person?
Oh yeah, better person, better artist, better. everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those types of heartbreaks and those types of just moments just really, really can push you to the greatest you can be, and it can push you to the lowest. But man, those highs are high for sure.
So like, do you like how did so then like if you're writing music based on these experiences, do you still feel sad that they occur, or do you feel grateful for the strength that you've gained from it, or both? How do you process that as a musician, you know?
I am the biggest sentimental teddy bear. Like I am so soft. Like as hard as I try to portray myself as not actually my original artist name, I was gonna call myself Sentimental Boy. That was gonna be the artist name actually. But I on one hand I'm grateful because it's just memories are irreplaceable. Like despite the tough moments, you got to share a love with somebody, and that can't ever be replaced. So it definitely inspires some songs, and it makes you you know wistful, but at the same time, it also sucks. And you know, it's just, and then it can also burn you out. So I guess I found a nice balance between letting it be a muse for me and absolutely despising it. Um, so, and that's been the hardest part about writing this album is that I feel like my best songs have been written in those times where I was down and I was heartbroken. So now that I'm happy and I've met, a nice new gal and I'm living the dream and working, thank you. Um, I'm just like, damn, like I can't write sad songs anymore. I can't write the music that I want to anymore. Like I'm pulling from the vault at this point. Like, oh man, like I wrote this, but now it's sad. Maybe I can just rework it a little bit. So that's the hard part about it's just the album. So many factors.
I think that's the thing about the whole alt rock kind of emotional movement, especially of like the mid 2000s. Is like I had this person teach me even recently that it was, like the media were like the media were like the emos are all sad and all this kind of self harm stuff. Which, to be fair,
Yeah.
there was some of it, but also a lot of the emo culture, right? I'm not saying that your stuff is necessarily that, but a lot of the emo culture was about just being open with your emotions.
Oh yeah.
And they got shit on for that.
Yes, they did. Yeah, yeah, and that's the hard part. Society at large, unfortunately, is just not there yet. I don't think it. I think unfortunately, like that era of rock was before its time, in the sense of like back then it was just very different, like very I don't want to say like a very like insensitive time. Like everybody was super edgy, all the edgy humor and all that stuff. It was a very different time back then, like 2008, 2007, 2006. So I think that era was before its time. Emotions were weak, since sensitivity was weakness. And I think that we're getting to a point now in society where vulnerability is a little more accepted. But I don't know. Some things are too ingrained, unfortunately, in
Well,
my opinion.
no, no, no. I share it. Like we've got this thing in society because we live in a society where like where we've got toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Where not to get on my soapbox or anything, but it can be difficult for guys to talk about their feelings. And then in that time in the mid 2000s, you had all those really edgy, angry people screaming into microphones, and people like, "Yeah, I'm angry." And then you had the people doing the softer old rock and now called words I probably shouldn't say in a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it's like, but they're emotions. They're just
Yep.
different.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just funny how universal these experiences can be, emotionally. Like you feel like you're the only one that ever feels this way, and then, you see some long-haired skater kid singing about the exact same thing that you're feeling, and it's just like, oh, great, yeah, truly not alone in that sense. So it's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like for you yourself, a person who's in touch with like not even in touch with how you feel, you just know you feel things and you acknowledge them and you
Yeah,
put them into their music. That's so dope. When did music become about just pretending that you don't feel things?
that became cool. I don't know when that became cool. But it's cool now being numb and being, broken and being whatever. I don't care about anything or anybody. I'm on my own. I'm a lone wolf. That's what's cool, I guess. I'm just like, okay. But I don't know. I don't know. I get in that mood sometimes too. Where I'm just like, whatever. I'm a tough guy, whatever. I'm Arlo. I don't care what anybody says. And then, and then I'm back to sing about how I'm not okay and don't forget me. So music is just very, very, there's just a lot of it. And it's a good and a bad thing.
Oh yeah, no, like you've got everyone has their moments where they're like, oh fuck it, I can't be bothered, right? But like to
Yeah,
build a brand on that's pretty kind of incredible when you think about it. Like when music is so tied to emotion, for people to then contrast it with an intellectual just a numbness there, it's wild, man.
it really is wild. It's taking a big shift. God, music from just popular music from just like 10 years ago was so motivational. Like Firework by Katy Perry, like all the super motivational stuff. And now we're just like I'll stay with the kid Laroi is really big, and it's just like I told you I changed when I knew that I couldn't. It's just like man, like what happened to us? Like we were so positive, and now we're just like broken, manipulative, heartbroken people. I don't know what happened.
It
Uh,
blows my mind, dude. Like, um, what is music now?
Music now is man. I sound like such an old person when I say this, but like it's like oh whatever's catchy and it's like I don't think there's much substance anymore. Like I mean, there's like the occasional album like Taylor Swift's or her most recent album, like very like emotional and raw, like and it was big, but then you contrast that with like I don't know like WAP by Cardi B. It's just like such a contrast of what people want. Like people want that vulnerability and people want something that they can listen to and cry in their room to, and people want something that they can play at the club with their friends, and they want it all at the same time, all the time, every time. And it's just like music is just it's just everything and everywhere, and it's complicated. Music is complicated.
I mean, you said you felt old. Dude, I need you to walk me through the Cardi B. Can you explain Cardi B to me?
Um, Cardi B, very beautiful woman, very attractive woman, but she's very, I don't know, vulgar in what she says. Which I mean, in the same vein, male rappers are also very vulgar. I guess it's just more commonplace to hear men being more vulgar, but society's moving more progressively, so I guess sexual liberation and all that stuff is in. But very vulgar, confident female rap, which is very vulgar to the extreme. X-rated.
Oh yeah,
That's how I describe it.
that's definitely X-rated.
Yeah,
Definitely. There is, and and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not a child. I can handle that
yeah,
stuff. Like if I had kids, I probably wouldn't want them listening to Cardi B. No, it's like,
definitely not.
but like you've got social media as well. And again, I'm not going to go on a tirade. I'm not that old. But like you got social media, and it's edgy. Less edgy than since YouTube started getting very kind of involved and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, family friendly stuff. Yeah, yeah. No, everything's definitely more monitored and definitely more in control these days. God, I was too young for pre-Facebook internet. My mom wouldn't let me do it, but I have only heard stories about MySpace and 4chan and all these places. I'm just like, man, yeah,
It was spicy. It was
yeah,
very spicy, dude. There was all sorts of fun to be had, man. Like, oh, that, dude, there was an era where literally entertainment was just people in a tiny little box in a screen watching them play like rage games and screaming at the
yep,
screen. That was entertainment, and they did music from that. They built careers off of that and remixing it into songs and stuff. Although that was
yeah,
also when dubstep was around. So everything
yes,
was either screaming or synthesizers at that point in time.
yeah. The two giants back on. back on the internet back then.
So, like for yourself as an artist, what does that mean for you and what you need to do these days? Is like I'm assuming someone who wants to like continue to be a professional musician.
Yeah. I don't even. I mean, there's so many cases of just these out of like the mainstream coming in, like Lil Nas X. Like, he came in a time where country music wasn't really that big, and Old Town Road came in, and it was just so out of nowhere. So I think that there's always potential to like break through, like the current mainstream. So I'm gonna just keep moving the way that I'm moving, and just hope that. Cause I'm a very lazy marketer. Like I don't care. I'm like, if you're gonna hear it and you're gonna like it, you're gonna keep listening. So please keep listening. Kind of stuff. Like I'm not the type that's gonna go on TikTok and like post my song on there and like make a video to it. Like I'm super shy. Like I'm super socially withdrawn. So I'm not the type that's gonna like be out there like that. But I'll occasionally reach out like, hey, or just post my link on Facebook and on my Snapchat and whatever. So I'm gonna keep hoping that the quality of what I do and not so much the quantity are gonna keep me, or can just push me to where I want to be career wise. But I mean, you know, yeah, I know that realistically I'm gonna have to move with the times, or the times are gonna move me. So I'm gonna keep going on the path that I'm on for as long as I possibly can until it's no longer viable, and that'll be the end of it, I guess.
Oh, you got to take care of yourself because you're a busy man. You got like multiple jobs, don't you? Is that right?
Yep, just yeah, my parents own a restaurant. So I'm there basically helping them run the restaurant, and then I work with kids with special needs with autism. I work with them residentially. I work in a home-like environment with them. Um, so I've been doing a lot of overnights recently, just and then went right back to the restaurant in the morning, like super crazy stuff.
Oh, nah. You are doing the absolute pleasure of talking to us this late in the evening at your time. So I won't hold you too much longer. Um, Although I would like, if it's okay, I'd like to ask you a few more questions just to make sure we get the time we need to make this an interview, if that's okay.
Of course,
It's okay. It's all right.
my
The
pleasure.
the most important thing for me though is when I was doing research for you today, there are a few Arlos.
Yes, yes, there's so many articles, so many, and I didn't even realize that until I tried to search myself up after I put out my EP. I was like, okay, you are not original, Antonio. You gotta, wow.
Because your music's dope. Your music's good. You're obviously no. I mean, like genuinely. Like I try and find problems because otherwise people are like, oh, this person isn't being critical enough, and it's like
Yeah,
sometimes the music's just good. Okay, don't.
yeah.
um, but like, then what do you do? Because you're gonna have to do the talky talks on Twitter and TikTok and all that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, and I know I'm just dragging my feet in the mud. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that stands out about me too much besides my voice and maybe just the lyrical content. So I'm not like a one in a billion case like Michael Jackson or like anything like that. Just a, and I'm just not at my full potential yet, kind of thing. So it's just wow. I completely just blanked on what I was saying.
It's okay. I again, I know you've had a hell of a day, so it's totally fine. You're doing really well. Okay.
Thank you.
Um, like, what do you mean by full potential? Where do you feel that full potential would be?
I'm not sure where the full potential would lie because I don't know what my own bar is. I don't know what my own measurement is for my full potential. Like maybe to the point where I can be a master of my domain and make any genre that I want and dominate and take over and do what I want to. Maybe that's my idea of my full potential. But honestly, I don't talk about it so much, but I only planned on doing a very limited number of projects. Like I didn't plan on continuing on for a long time. Like not because I don't want to, but I just feel like what am I going to talk about 10 years from now or 15 years from now? Like, you know,
Yeah. I guess for some bands, right? Back in the olden days of the 70s,
Yeah.
several decades ago, you needed a good $50,000 to record an album. So you had
Oh
to
yeah.
get signed. And that's why it took bands until they got signed, and then they had to produce an album a year for 5 years, or else they didn't get any royalties. But that's another
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But you're in a time where you're making music. It's just so cool that you're the age you are, because you just got your entire future in the time where it's so easy to make this music.
Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate the fact that technology has come so far. Like like I've like I used to watch some like old bands and stuff and having to record on cassette tapes and record on those tapes and splice them together, and I'm just like, I can't even, like, now I can just click a button and just delete a whole thing and just redo it again. Like I can't even imagine the painstaking process that would have been four decades ago.
I'll tell you what it was like to work with tape, because I've done it before. It sucks because you have to use a razor, and then you have to cut it, and then if you stuff up the cut, you got to do it again, and then you might miss a hi-hat, and you got to run it again to check you got the right thing cut, and then you got to just go and burn your eyes out or shove the razor in your eye, because that would be less painful, and you still want to feel alive, and
Yeah.
it's just that's working with tape.
Yeah, I nothing but respect for you, man, because that sounds like a, oh man, I can't even imagine. I get frustrated with what I have now, like my software on my computer. This is baby level, like this is like like hand holding. I get frustrated with it. I couldn't imagine doing tape. So hats off to you, because that sounds terrible.
Oh, and thank you. I appreciate your concern. It was literally just, I think the place I was studying at did it just to remind us how lucky we were to have Pro Tools machines. And
Yeah.
10 years later, I'm feeling incredibly lucky that I didn't decide to continue with Pro Tools, because Pro Tools is quite honestly a heaving pile of shit. What do you use to produce stuff? Like, what's the audio software?
It's funny. Like a lot of my earlier stuff, I use this really simple program. It's called Soundtrap, and it's like a very basic browser extension, like super easy to use. Like just like all I have to do is just press reverb and turn a dial, and it was just reverb throughout the track. Like, and I have to go on. Like it's just easiest thing I think I've ever seen. Like a monkey could do it, and that's what I did for my earlier stuff. But for the end of me and Scars, I went to a studio in Jersey for that, and my producer, oh my, he's like, I've never seen something so. He has Asperger's, so, and he's like a savant in audio. Like he like the vocal harmonies at the end of Scars. I watched him for an hour while after I finished recording, just cut pieces and use this program called like Melodyne. I think it is. I don't know what it is. Like this, like a vocal editor, and he took pieces of my voice and like stretched them and cut them and pasted and put them everywhere. And I'm like, I can't, I can't even fathom that. And he was only like 25, 20, 24, like pretty close to my age, and just the mastery he has of his software that he uses. I don't remember what it was, but man, shocking. It's shocking what programs can do these days.
Because, like, nowadays, like back 10 years ago, you had like Pro Tools and Logic, and that was it. You had
Yeah.
very early versions of Cubase and stuff like that, and maybe, I don't know when Ableton came out, but it was probably around that time that the very earliest versions. And now you just have a bazillion, and you can
Oh,
just use whatever you want. So I guess for you, you're talking about maybe not knowing what to do for like 15 years for your project. Do you think that's in part just to how easy it is to produce this music?
oh yeah. No, I think that's definitely part of it. Just because I could probably put out, three albums back to back, and it would cost me less than, like barely any money at all. Like I could say whatever I wanted to say. It's so easy to put music out. Like back when you had to do tape and stuff, like you had to make an account and you had to wait and write and make sure there was something that you wanted to do before you go through that pain of, doing that production stuff. Now I can just sit at my computer, pull up Soundtrap, and sing something over a trap beat and put it out, and that's another song on my discography, and have a million of them out, and then run out of things to say. So that's why I try so hard to just cut things down to just like the most important things and the most vulnerable things, and put them out not infrequently, but just I try to like make it like a commodity, like just like something that doesn't come out very often and makes you just want it more, like so that's what I try to do, but who knows how that's working.
Because like, if you would, let's just say you were to put an album out, what would you do with the album? Like, would you want to do some shows, some acoustic shows or whatever? Would you do some collaborations?
I was definitely looking for collaborations. It's not like I don't actively search for them, but I don't want to actively avoid them either. I just want to feel like like some artists I've done collaborations in the past, like back when I was like mainly on SoundCloud, and it wasn't more a collaboration where it's just like, all right, can you just like record a verse over this 20-second break in the beat, and just like, okay, and do that, and like they would call it a collab, and I'm just like, but we didn't really collaborate. It was just me just doing something, over a 15-second snippet of a beat, and then you just putting it on the song. And so I wanted to feel like a genuine like workings of two minds, and just like, all right, like let's make something good. So I'm definitely looking for that in the future. Um, right now I'm still kind of a perfectionist, and I'm still like kind of a dictator about my music. Like I'm
Ah.
still I'm still there. Like if someone like recorded a verse I didn't like on a song that I was making, I'd be like, yeah, maybe I should just, yeah, yeah, basically. So I'm still kind of in that phase where I'm just like, I want it to sound the way that I want it to sound, and there's no compromise. Like, which sucks because I wish I could be able to just be like, oh, and let's just have fun and play around. But I'm so particular about my music on Spotify and that kind of stuff.
I suppose as you do pull material out, you kind of get to a point where you might have that leverage, because
Yeah,
let's be real. When someone says, "Hey, can you do 20 seconds of rap on a track that we've got?" That's kind of more of a feature, isn't it? And that's okay. There's no shame in a feature. That's all good. It's just the terminology is quite important, isn't it? But like for you, I understand what you're saying. For you, if you were to work with someone and it wasn't to be quite right, it'd probably annoy you a little bit.
oh yeah, like because I know artists, because I know every artist is gonna feel the same way. Like I want it to sound the way that I want it to sound, and that's what's so hard is like I know I'm gonna want it to sound one way, and they're gonna want it to sound one way, and we're gonna have to you know come to a compromise. I've never had to compromise about how I want my stuff to sound. That's just like it's just not for me.
Oh yeah. Look, we are kindred spirits. I also do not like to compromise. This is why I'm self-employed. It's why I run my own business. It's
Yep.
why I make my own music because I'm very, very much like I'm just not a team player. And I own that. That is a weakness of mine. Because quite honestly, I acknowledge that if I was more open-minded about working with people, I might have had more opportunities when I was starting. However, for
Yeah.
you have opportunities without needing other people because of just how independent you can be. So I suppose it's in that regard, it's actually okay, right?
Yeah. 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 It's not like I'm like there's like local artists I've tried to I'm like there's a local artist, and well, there is a local artist, and I remember in middle school he wrote songs in middle school, and he was performing them at like school rallies and stuff, like in like the gymnasium. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, that's so annoying. I don't know why. I just hated it. I don't know, maybe because like deep down maybe like I wanted to do it, but like I was just like so bitter about it. I'm like, oh, and I wanted to, and actually he actually listened to my stuff recently. He's like, oh my gosh, your stuff was amazing. and I was gonna collab with him. Like we were gonna make a song in a studio that he works at, but just kind of fell through because of scheduling. But I'm just like I want to collab with people and I like do features and stuff, but I'm still so particular.
That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes having three people can help.
Mm.
Like I could just for the sake of having a tiebreaker, like if you're gonna get into a fist fight with person B, person C can go be like, look, let's just go out for drinks or something. Let's just
Yeah,
sort this out. Yeah, man. Sounds like you've got an interesting journey ahead with the album that because you mentioned needing to write quite a lot of tracks. Like how long an album are we talking here? Are we talking like 8 to 10 tracks or
yeah, definitely. Yeah, between 8 and 10. Like I'm looking at 9, but it's just such a nightmare trying to just because like if an EP takes me an album's worth of material, an album's gonna take me a deluxe album's worth of material to just cut down. It's gonna be so painstaking, and I have like a list of instrumentals, like probably like probably like 300 that I've like kind of like played around with, and I'm just like, right now I'm cut it down to 9. Like it's so grueling. So that's probably gonna slow me down probably like right up until September. So I'm probably not looking until like summer 2022 for a whole album. Like it's gonna be a really grueling process. And by the time that I write that, maybe more instrumentals will come out that I have a keen ear to, and then I have to cut some songs because I like the new instrumentals better. So who knows? I'm hoping for a 2022 release date for an album, but that's really wishful thinking.
honestly, man, take your time. There's no need to rush. Like there is so much content. There is
Yeah,
so much content that if you rush it and then it ain't hitting the way it needs to, it's very difficult to release it again, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. It's like you have like really one chance to impress people. Like that first listen is so important. Like if you can't, like if you just play someone a dud as your first song or their first impression of you is like, oh, this sucks. It's gonna be borderline impossible to reel them in again.
Oh shit, yeah. Cause like you can be like, oh, this one's better, but they're like, no, 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 we heard the first.
Yeah, that first one
It,
sucked. I doubt it's gonna be good. It's like so nerve wracking.
I'm really glad you are not going for a really long album because a really long album, uh, like 15 tracks. Like how do you do something with 15 tracks in an album nowadays?
That's the hardest thing for me to understand is that at least one of them you're kind of bullshitting. Like one of them, like at least a handful of tracks you're just throwing in there just to get to 15. Like I know that for a fact. Like I know that artists do that. I can, like when I listen to the song sometimes, I'm like they definitely just threw that part in there. Like because like as a vocalist or like as like a lyricist, I can just tell when something is just so like random or just so like not as good as another part of the song. Like I can just tell when people are BSing, and I'm just like, and I hear tracks on albums. I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely just in there just to bump up, you know, the numbers.
I mean, to be fair to you, you sound like you're going through a pretty good period at the moment, which is great. So I would assume that there'll be some happier material in the album, right?
And it's so strange, yeah, because I've been writing really poppy tracks too. I'm just like, this is so weird. Like I'm writing like this super like brightness turned all the way up on the beat, like happy poppy like background vocal type stuff. I'm just like, man, this is so weird, but it's fun. But I'm
Hell
just like, but
yeah.
it's just not me. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we're gonna find out when that album comes out because it's gonna be a long writing process.
Oh, dude, like, you look at someone like Skrillex, right? He started
Yeah,
in like the big, from first to last, one of the big kind of bands of that genre in the mid 2000s, and he just got into dubstep, and he just
yeah,
changed everything. He just
yeah,
completely changed his tone and everything, and he kept a similar kind of look with the old kind of black and stuff like that, but. was completed for music, man. Maybe you're just going through a journey.
Maybe I just gotta do a complete 180 somewhere and just throw out some crazy stuff and hopefully it'll stick. But yeah, so maybe that's what I gotta do. A nice revamp.
Oh, dude, look, it's just awesome because again, there's a lot of people writing music about their struggles, and then there's a lot of music people writing music about how awesome their life is.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
If you can just find a point in the in the middle somewhere, I think there might be room for you in there, bud.
I hope so. I truly hope so. I hope I can find that nice middle ground.
So I know it's late for you. I know it's late for you, Arlo, so I'm gonna let you go so you can get some sleep. However, is there anything else you want to discuss about your music before I give you the final question of the interview?
Oh, the final question. I guess it's not much of a question, it's more of a comment. But I just want to say that like your reviews have always been so accurate. I don't want to give you that. I've never heard anybody say that like in the interviews, but like your commentary and your like observations about the music are always spot on. Like I'm like, damn, like you really noticed that. At the end of Scars, when you're like, oh, that final note was so final. And I was in the studio, my producer, like he hit that note and yeah, he's like, that sounds like the end. I was like, oh my God, like he was so spot on about that. So yeah, so not much of a question but I just wanted to say like, keep doing it because you are spot on all the time.
Thank you. Look, honestly, Arlo, the fact remains is that you do write music that makes sense musically. Your vocals are pretty dope. And you have an understanding of how to write catchy melodies whilst being true to the genres that you perform within. And the production is pretty spot on as well. Like I have to try and find fault with stuff that I review, and I have to understand it. And part of the reason I can understand it is because you actually seem to know what you're doing. So well done.
Yeah, thank you so much, thank you.
So for you, where can people go to find your music, find out more about what you do?
You can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud. SoundCloud, you can hear some of the old stuff that I don't have on Spotify, stuff that I couldn't get cleared, like beats that are like purchased exclusively. I can't get monetized anymore type of stuff on Spotify. So yes, SoundCloud if you want to hear angsty teenager Arlo, that's definitely the place to go. But if you want to hear new you know, highly produced Arlo, Spotify is the place to go.
Sweet. Well, hey, look, it was fantastic to chat to you. I hopefully you have a best of luck in future, and I'm looking forward to hearing more music from you soon.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Cheers. See you later. And that was my interview with Arlo. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Number 14. What a journey. What a trip. Fantastic to chat to him. Really great guy's onto it, knows what he's doing with his music. Please do go check out his various social medias and his Spotify and his SoundCloud, and stay cool, stay safe. Please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you in the next interview. I got it this time. I remembered the correct outro. Spider hands up.